Hi, I'm Katie Kempner, and welcome to Perspectives. We're here at TEDWomen, and right now I'm really excited to be talking with Zem Joaquin. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So you have a very interesting bunch of things that you do. Can you please talk a little bit about your career and what you're up to?
So I founded ecofabulous.com, which is now part of the Huffington Post, and I'm currently editor-at-large of Home and Lifestyle there.
We had been talking just a little bit, and you were talking about how you got into what you're doing now, really through your children.
Yeah, so both of my children had severe asthma when they were very small, and so they constantly were on inhalers, they were on nebulizers, and I just felt like that was unacceptable. And then when they prescribed steroids to them, long-term steroids, I said, okay, my children are not bodybuilders. We're going to get to the bottom of this. And then I started researching environmental health when nothing was working. And I realized that the environment was contributing to their asthma and also to their overall health. And so I went back to school and started studying everything I could study. And then I realized that I needed to redesign my house. So basically created a toxin-free environment. So I started with their health in mind, but then you cannot ignore the health of every child. And as Bill McDonough says, we need to love all children of all species for all time. And that really resonated with me, and I realized that that was what I wanted to do. So I set out to share this information, which is why I started EcoFabulous.
Well, you mentioned Bill McDonough, and I thought it was very interesting when I first did a little research on you that your bio on the Huffington Post site says he's your mentor. I mean, mentorship is so important, and yet I think it has to come from an organic place, the way it did with you and Bill. I think a lot of people, though, they're unclear, they're unsure how to find one. I mean, there's a lot of, sort of manufactured environments for that, for business women. Let's focus on women in this particular case. But how do you go about finding a mentor?
I think what you need to do is you have to really be passionate about the subject so they can feel it's palpable if you really care about something. And so if you find something that you care about, you then identify people who are already in that space and have already kind of made a name for themselves, but you need to find a few, because they're not all going to stick, and you're not always going to have that connection. Bill and I just happen to really have this heart connection. We were doing it for the kids, and we were doing it for the planet, and to leave a much more beautiful place than we saw was going to be left.
Well, and you've really been able to create a career around what your passion is. That's really hard for a lot of people to do. Do you have any advice on how to do that?
I think if you are truly passionate about something, and if you really give your absolute heart and soul, and you do have to network. You can't do it in a closet and then expect that it's going to get out there, or partner with somebody who is able to connect with other people. So if you're a recluse, that's okay. If you're somebody who's very introverted, then you need to partner with someone who's not. I don't love dealing with the numbers, which is why I married my husband. Because
he's a numbers guy.
You know what? He loves reading the manual. That's our big joke, is he will read the manual from front to back, and I find that incredibly tedious, and then he gives me the Cliff Notes.
I'm like that too. I cannot read the manual. It's like it's not even in English, even when it is in English.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So you mentioned your husband. We started this conversation by talking about your kids and how you got into what you do now. What are some of the ways that you are able to stay very connected with your family while still being able to pursue your passions?
Yeah, it's interesting. People are always asking about the balance, and I can't say I am perfect at it. I have a very busy social life, and my social life feeds into my business life, and it's important to my business life. And my business life is important to my social life, but my children are always the most important things in my life. My husband's father fell ill the last couple weeks, and so I've been home every single night, and anything that wasn't absolutely necessary, I've canceled. And I'm able to work from home, which is really the easiest way to balance your life. Now, it's hard to separate. There are times where the kids walk in and I'm on a conference call, and then I catch myself, oh God, don't talk to your kids like that. Tell them, guys, later. So, and I'm constantly working at it, and, there are times that I snap and go, not now. But the truth is, being able to work from home, and I have clients that I have to go to their offices, but whenever the time is my own and I control the time, then I work it around them. So sometimes I work at night. Like if I'm writing for Huffington Post, that's usually happening after they go to sleep at 8:30. And so 8:30 to 11:30 is writing time. Luckily, my husband's in a similar space. His work is complementary to my work. So we happen to enjoy that time together. So it doesn't feel like it's taking away from our relationship. But the kids, I mean, my daughter's a horseback rider and I go to all of her shows. But yeah, while she's out there, if she's just sitting there waiting, I am on my iPhone checking things. I try not to do it when they're around that much anymore because I realize I don't want to have partial attention.
Yeah.
But, all of that's evolving. I'm, doing the best I can, just as all moms are.
And that's what I think moms a lot of times don't give themselves enough credit. Sometimes doing the best that you can really is much more than enough,
Yeah.
So I want to just ask you two more things. You're writing for the Huffington Post while you're here. What are some of the things you're hoping to hear about?
Well, so I am a longtime TEDster. So instead, I've been going for a decade, and I find TED the most enriching experience of my year. So it's the one thing my husband and I have never missed. Once we went the first time, that was it. We never missed TED. And the amazing thing is, when I first started going to TED, it wasn't online. So you don't have to be here to have that experience, to watch all of the speakers and go. I mean, there are some speakers who talk about education that totally changed my husband's life, and now he's really involved in STEM education. And I don't know anybody who goes to TED who hasn't had that experience.
I just want to ask you one last question, which I always like to ask my guests. So if you have one piece of advice for someone starting out or looking to make a change, something that's helped guide you through your career, what would it be?
I think more than anything, I would say be open, be a sponge, learn everything you can from everybody. I mean, you never know who is going to impact you the most. You never know who somebody's going to be. I mean, I have to say someone like Elon Musk, who my husband went to space camp with Elon, and Elon looked over at him. This is over a decade ago, and he said, "You know what? I'm gonna build a better one." And my husband laughed, and they all laughed and said, and lo and behold, he did. And so you never know who is going to impact you and how they're going to impact you. So just being receptive and following up, I think that's a big thing, is people forget how important it is to notice little things and to really, and to care about what someone else is feeling. Just to express that can change everything, can change the world.
That's a terrific place to end. Thank you. It was a pleasure talking to you.
You as well.
And thank you. Please check back again for more episodes here at TEDWomen. Thanks.